way we usually do it is we aim for like an hour, and it goes so quickly, like beyond quickly. There's quite a lot of people joining already, so anybody that's joining, if you want to join in and ask Colby or I questions, just use the little question feature. The chat goes quite fast, so just use the little question feature, type in your questions, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. It's usually about an hour. It cuts you off after an hour anyway. So we'll do like 58 minutes just in case. And I always start with a little disclaimer because I don't want anybody to sue us for anything.
Please don't.
So yeah, because I don't have the money for that right now.
Yeah.
So a little disclaimer about gastric gossip. Everything discussed in today's live is from personal experience and not professional medical advice. Should you have any surgery related queries, you should always seek professional help. Ooh. So yeah, welcome to the show. This is so exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad. What I think we'll do is do a quick introduction. Maybe just tell everyone watching who you are, how old you are, when you had the surgery, who you had it with, how much weight, if you're okay disclosing that, how much weight you've lost so far, and yeah, where you're up to in your journey, basically.
Okay. Hey everybody, this is actually my first time on IG Live, so
oh really?
It's a new experience for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 in February.
Wow.
Kobe. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, in the United States of America, and I had the surgery. It'll be a year this Wednesday, the 23rd.
Oh.
December of last year, of 2019. So coming upon a year, and I started at a little over 400 pounds, and I am now at 230-ish. I haven't weighed myself in like two months. I stopped weighing myself, but as of 2 months ago, it was 230. So it's about 170 pounds I've lost so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
I went through the healthcare system here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Atrium Health. It's one of the healthcare branches they have. Dr. Namiri actually did my surgery. He's a great guy here in Charlotte. The process was about 6 months that I had to go through. I'm not sure if this is one of the questions, but
no, go for it. I'm so intrigued.
Okay. Okay, so it was a 6 months process. It had to be, of course, what do you call it? Suggested by your primary care physician. So my primary care physician requested it for me to go to that program. But basically, it was just 6 months of extraneous doctor visits. It was so many doctor visits. It was like 5 or 6 doctor visits a month. Going two visits to the actual doctor who does the surgery, visit with his nurse one day, and then one time with him, a visit with the dietitian, a visit with the nutritionist, and then you had a psych eval. So that was 6 months of that, and once I got approved, it was a go.
Wow. So are there people that do that 6 month process and then don't get approved?
There is most people are vested, but there are some people who I believe maybe are not ready for it, and they think they are, because it is quite a bit to be committed to it for 6 months, because it's a huge commitment. You know, you have to, the program that I went through, you have to lose weight on your own first. So during that 6 months, if you're not losing weight, you won't get approved for the surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you don't show up to any, like if you miss more than one doctor's appointment, you won't get approved. And yeah, and then if you don't pass the psych evaluation, which they ask pretty deep questions. They even ask if you've been violated as a child. They ask all kind of questions, and if you're
questions
not willing
to try to understand like the situation you're in and why you got to that weight.
Exactly. So some people are just not ready for that level of the process, and they don't pass. But I was fully committed, because I've been on the weight loss journey for a long time, probably since my mid-20s. and up and down, not being really consistent. But for the most part, I've been overweight, but I was ready to get a new lease on life.
Honestly, you have done incredibly. We actually have I also had the surgery a year ago in December, so we have surgery.
Congratulations.
Mine was December the 13th.
Okay.
And we have so I went private in the UK. You can either go with our National Health Service or you can go private. And I think when you go, I don't want to get this wrong, so feel free to comment if I've done it incorrect, if I've said it incorrectly. But if you don't go private, if you go through the NHS, I think you have to do like a series of where you do 6 months, where you have to be on like a controlled situation, and then they can tell you whether you're eligible or not for the surgery. So I think it's quite similar in the US as well as the UK for that. I went private. I was fortunate enough to go private, but I do know it's quite a strenuous sort of process.
Yeah, and you can, if you in America, if you have the money to do it, because my surgery was over $20,000, the whole thing. I saw
my
the bill,
gosh!
Thank God I have great insurance. I only paid $100 for the copay, but I saw the bill and it was over $20,000. But if you are fortunate enough to have that money, you can have the surgery like the next month because most of that psych eval, all that is for insurance purposes, so that they can make sure they're covered. But if you have the funds and the resources to do it and pay it, the doctor will definitely go ahead and do it for you, usually within a month. I'm not sure with COVID and everything right now, but pre-COVID,
Right, fine. Okay, that makes sense. Well, great to meet you. Thank you so much for deciding to join my live. I honestly wanted to pick you because out of all people that I've seen from the US, and there's a lot of people that I follow from the US, you just have such an incredible presence about you, and you come across so positively, and so your smile radiates so much, and I was like, need to get this guy on board. So thanks for saying yes. We already have quite a lot of questions through, and people are commenting. I'm really not trying to ignore anyone's comments, but they come through so quickly, and I can't be rude to Colby. I need to listen to what he's saying, and I want to listen to what you're saying. So let's what we'll do is we'll move to the questions.
Okay.
And then I do have spare questions if we run out, but it seems like the chat is active. There's 40 people with us, so we'll see where we get up to. Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. First question. What was the hardest part of the first 48 hours post-op? I'm pre-op and I'm nervous. So the way we do this, Colby, is like, if you want to jump in and answer, you answer. If you want me to do it, you do it. Whatever's best. Just go for it.
You can go first.
Okay, fine. What was the hardest part of the first 48 hours post-op? I'm pre-op and nervous. Okay, so first of all, best of luck with your journey. This is from somebody called Fluffy to Fabulous. So best of luck with your journey. What was the hardest part of the first 48 hours? I think for me, it was the wind. All I remember is like being in excruciating pain from it being like trapped wind, like all that gas that they pumped into me, or like us, to try and like get us so that they could go in and do the surgery. I just remember being in such excruciating pain and just wanting to like pass wind, and I wasn't able to. That was really hard. But other than that, I don't really the first 48 hours post surgery, I just remember sleeping a lot. Like I don't remember really doing much. I don't know about you, but yeah, I think it was just pain.
Yeah, for me, it was the pain. This was actually my first surgery ever. I've never been admitted into the hospital. So the nerves of that was just all over the place, number one. And but when I woke up, I'm not going to lie, it was the worst pain I've ever had in my life.
Really?
But it did not last long because, as you said, they really put a lot of medicine in you. You know, right after surgery, you can't have a lot of medicine because they're trying to get you back. So you do feel that pain. And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'2", and definitely was bigger at that time. So from what I've heard, I heard that I showed out pretty bad with the pain. You know, I was trying to, you know, whatever. But after that, they sent me to the recovery part of the surgery, post-op surgery. And I was just dozing in and out of sleep, literally. Like they were offering me ice. Like I would wake up drowsy, asking for ice or something of that nature, but I don't even remember that part. And to be honest with you, I just remember waking up in the room. After I woke up after the 48 hours, I didn't really remember the pain.
You don't,
it was like
you just sort of get on with it.
Yeah, they had us up walking.
Yeah,
like hours after the surgery, and so it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
And I remember being like so high on morphine that like I knew I was in pain, but thank you for the drugs, because I was genuinely okay, like literally okay. It's manageable.
Say yes to drugs.
The only time we should say yes to drugs is post-op.
Just that time.
Literally. Okay, next question. We'll move on to, okay, it's quite relevant. It's quite similar. How was your first, just guys, there's loads of people joining, and I just want you to know, if you've got a question, if you use the question mark feature, Colby and I will answer all your questions, but it's really hard to like keep track of the chat when trying to talk and listen. And so yeah, just use the question mark feature, we'll answer all your questions. Tosin says, how was your first month experience after surgery? Okay, so I'm really intrigued to hear what yours is, because I have a friend that's just had the surgery. He had it on December the 4th, and his experience post-op is a million times different to mine. I remember only being able to drink, like literally, I'm going to use my foundation as an example, like this amount of liquid for honestly about 2 weeks post-surgery. He's drinking like, he'll have this and he'll drink it by 12 o'clock lunchtime. And I'll be like, are you okay? Like, are you sure you had the surgery?
Did he have the surgery?
I think they just drew lines on him, like. So the first month post-op for me was like, the first 2 weeks was liquids, and then 2 weeks after that was like, I call it mush, like mushy food. And I just remember just really struggling to eat and thinking, oh my God, is this me for the rest of my life now? I don't know about you. Was yours quite similar, or?
Well, my first month was interesting. The first 2 weeks was liquid. I hated, to be honest with you, I hated the protein liquid, like the clear liquid protein. It was just so sweet to me. And I hated that part of it. But in regards to drinking, I'm with you. I had to force myself to drink. I had to just constantly, and I think that was the worst of it, just constantly forcing myself to drink. Like, it seems like if I was not asleep, I was always drinking something, because when I did drink, it was just like a little bit.
Literally the tiniest amount.
Yeah, and it was a lot of walking up and down stairs because the gas is real.
So real. It's so painful.
Oh my God. I thought I was having a heart attack. I was like, they did something wrong. It is this pain in my chest.
In my chest.
It hurts so bad. And it was just gas. So I had to, and there's nothing really you can do other than take the gas medicine and walk it out. But that was probably it. Now, one thing I will say, I was blessed to be surrounded by people who did have the surgery before, and also an RN who was a part of my family. So yeah, so I kind of had that help. That was good for me. So, and they were all amazed because a month out, I was eating solid foods, and I wasn't supposed to. Now, I wasn't eating a lot, but I was eating pretty much solid foods for the most part by the end of that month. But it was okay. It wasn't anything dreadful or painful. It was just being intentional and making sure I got my liquids and dealing with the gas pain. That was about it.
I remember crawling on my sofa. Not on my sofa, sorry, in front of my sofa, just like crawling along the floor trying to get rid of this pain, like lifting my leg up, just trying to do anything just to get rid of the gas. But one thing I definitely will say is, like, as much as you can listen to people's experiences and as much as you can get your doctor's advice, one thing I've definitely learned from my friend having the operation, everybody's journey is so different. There is the sleeve and there's the band and there's the bypass, but there's so much more that goes on, and it depends on like your weight. Your starting weight can affect you, your gender, your relationship with food, your mentality. There's so much that can affect you. So Colby and I can we can give our experiences, but who says that our experiences are going to reflect on somebody else's experiences?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one thing that was interesting, because I know quite a bit of people who had the surgery, and everybody experience is completely different. You can get advice, you know, because that was my thing. I was asking everybody, okay, what should I expect? And really, out of everyone's suggestions, advice rather, I probably experienced maybe 5% of what they said.
Really?
My experience was completely different
Right.
than theirs. And it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that you're doing it better. You're just different. We're all different. We experience things different. We experience pain tolerance, all of that different. So I think ultimately we can't, also for me, I had to get myself together because nervousness and all that. I had to say, Kobe, enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey. You've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Take a deep breath, enjoy the journey, take it to whatever comes, deal with it. You have what it
deal
takes.
with it.
But just enjoy the journey.
I love that. Great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Oh my God, we've got a lot of questions. Okay. This isn't a question, but somebody's just said they're struggling to decide whether to have the surgery or not. So I'm gonna sort of just post this, and we can talk about sort of general sort of do's and don'ts, and whether we should and we shouldn't. We could even maybe, we're quite a different age difference. You're in your 30s and I'm in my 20s, so I think it'd be nice to discuss sort of what sort of made us decide to have the surgery.
Sure.
The reason we sort of came to that decision. I don't know much about this person. I don't know how old they are or anything like that. I don't discuss my weight online, but I will say that it's just one thing I just refuse to do. And I will say that according to the government of the UK, I had reached the morbidly obese stage, and I hit 24, and I was just the biggest I'd ever been. And something was telling, I'm not a weak person. I'm one of these people, if I put my mind to something, I like getting my own way. So if I put my mind to something, I want to do it. I can play netball competitively. I don't know if you have that. It's a bit like basketball, but I play sports competitively, and I'm very goal focused. And weight loss was just something that it always defeated me. It always it was just a losing battle whenever I tried. And I'd been trying to lose weight since I was about 14. And I realised it was only last year that I realised, from going through quite a bad breakup, that I realised that for me it just wasn't it wasn't just a food addiction. It was it wasn't just struggling to diet. It was a food addiction, and it was mental, and it was something that I wanted to. The same way if you broke your leg, you'd have to go to the hospital. I wanted the help, and I wanted the same way that you'd go to Alcoholics Anonymous or Drinking Anonymous or not Drinking Anonymous, Drugs Anonymous or something like that. I needed something that was medically going to intervene and help me sort the rest of my life out. I didn't want to go on and carry on going the way that I was going on, because it's just not a way to live. And for me, that was the deciding factor. That was the thing that made me think, okay, you know what? I'm going to go for gastric surgery.
Right. Exactly. Well, for me, what's funny is 5 years ago, I was totally against it. I was against surgery. I looked down on people who had it.
Wow.
Because it was for certain people, they believe that surgery is the easy way out. And I was around certain people who believe that. I was a part of a certain community. And I will speak for a lot of African Americans look down on that. In regards to it's a lot of people don't say they had it outwardly, especially men. I don't know what that is, but they will have the surgery and act like they didn't. But it was a stigmatism associated with the surgery. So I just was like, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not going to have surgery. But I just had a point in my life. I turned 30. I was morbidly obese. I had diabetes. diabetes runs really bad in my family. Like people usually, once they turn 50, they have to get something amputated or something of that nature.
Wow.
So I definitely didn't want to go down that road. I was getting diabetes. I had sleep apnea, where literally I had 100 and so times that I would stop breathing throughout the night. That was to a point where people would die from that, on that level. So it got really bad. And my breaking point was 2 years ago. I went to a conference in Tampa, Florida, and we stayed downtown. And the conference was maybe a block away from the hotel.
Right.
All of my friends and everyone else, people older than me, some people even bigger than me, they would walk every day to the conference back and forth because it was just a block away. It's downtown.
Right. I genuinely don't know. When you say a block away, like how long would that take you to walk? Or how long would that take one person?
Probably 15 minutes.
Right, okay.
15 minutes, yeah. So 15 minutes to walk there and back. I literally would be able to get maybe 2 minutes outside of the hotel and my back would be in excruciating pain. And I almost needed a wheelchair. And I'm with people who are older than me. I'm with people who are, would say some are bigger than me. And I've always been able to hide my weight because of my height a lot of times. But I felt like I was going to die. I was embarrassed. My outfit was drenched when I got there. It was just so embarrassing. And it was like a three-day process. So we're walking back and forth 2 or 3 times a day. So it was almost where I just wanted to Uber 15 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? It was so embarrassing. And at that moment, I said, Kobe, this can't be the rest of your life. You want to have kids, you want to have a family. You can't play with the kids like that. You're going to be absent from their life. And you're probably going to be dead if you don't get this under control. So that was my breaking point. And I said, and one thing I had to realize is gastric bypass is not a way out. It's simply a tool. Just like someone use a tool of dieting, someone use a tool of exercising, someone use a tool of psychology, however your tool is, it is just a tool. It's not the be all fix all, but it's simply a tool that you're choosing to use to help catapult you to a healthier life. So that was my resolve and that was my decision in having the surgery.
Oh, do you know what, Kobe? I'm so glad I asked you to come on because I'm fully getting emotional because everything you said, like, I really relate to. And yeah. I remember like going on, so I'm Jewish, right? And when I was 16, I went on this thing called tour, which is where you go with like a Jewish organization and you go to Israel for a month and you travel around Israel and you see all the different sites and you learn, and it's a very like educational based thing. And I will never forget like exactly what you've just experienced. They'd say things like, right guys, we're going to walk up this mountain today, and everybody around me would be like, yeah, fab, cool, and I'd be there like, and it's so humiliating and it's so degrading, and you just, do you know what, I don't know about you, but you don't even feel like, oh my god, everyone's watching me. You feel like, how did I let myself get in this way? Right. You feel weak, like you feel like you've let yourself down.
Yes. So, and you're very hard on yourself. And,
and
you start, and I don't know if it was just me, but you start going back in your mind and chastising yourself on past things that you did. I shouldn't have did this. I shouldn't have did that. And you become so overwhelmed with your past that you really can't move forward.
Oh my god, it's like me and my friend always talk about this. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like in your head, you sort of accept the fact that it's happened and you can't change it. And then you're too busy like looking in the past at how you got there. So then you can't change it because you're too busy with your head stuck in the past. And then you get even more upset. And therefore you further can't. It's awful. It's beyond awful.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
And what you said about the stigma behind weight loss surgery, I get it. Like, I get why people say, like, oh, it's the easy way out and things like that. But in reality, like, the reason I made my Instagram account and the reason why, like, I made Gastric Gossip and the reason why I do all I can to, like, talk about my surgery and stuff is because I want to do my absolute best to try and remove that stigma, because you're right. It's literally I think any form of gastric surgery, whichever's best for you, it just happened to be the sleeve for us. You're right, it's a tool. That is the best way to describe it. And no, like, I'm sorry, but I get quite annoyed when people say it is the easy way out, because I don't understand how limiting the food that you eat for the rest of your life is just an easy thing to do. Constantly having to go to a restaurant and be that awkward person and ask for a smaller menu, or ask for a kids menu, or ask for or like cooking, and then like doing a dinner party and having like 8 plates and you've got a small plate, and like you don't really want to be different. Like, in an ideal world, we'd just lose weight and we would go to the gym and that would be great and that's life. But unfortunately, not everybody is built like that. But thankfully, we have this tool that we're able to use, but it's not the easy way out. And there's a lot of psychological struggle that comes with it as well.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, it's definitely not the easy way out. It's I think sometimes it's harder, because you're limiting yourself, but also it doesn't do everything. You have to put in the work. You know, people ask me, you know, I'm going to get the surgery. I want to, and I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal or anything. It's, you know, whatever. They say, you know, I want that body. I want to have surgery. I was like, well, I didn't get this body from surgery. I didn't get this way from surgery. I've been in the gym since March. Like, I go to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm in the gym for at least 2 hours. You know, I'm doing the work. I'm in therapy, handling issues with my food addiction, talking about issues, triggers that I would eat in regards to emotional triggers and things like nature. So the surgery is just, like you said, like we said, is a tool. It is not the be all fix all. So if you go in with it thinking, okay, the surgery is going to fix my whole life, you're going to fail. You have to be able to understand the surgery is just the beginning of the race. It is just the jump start. It's the gun shooting and you're running, but you have to get endurance. You have to make sure you're training. You have to make sure that you are in a mental space, you're exercising so that you can ultimately get to the finish line that you're looking to get to. So
for sure. And people, one question I always get from people is, are there any foods that you miss that you don't eat anymore? And I say to people, you can literally eat whatever you want, like you can, but it's just limited. And I think that's where the whole mentality of it being a tool rather than the be all and end all comes into play. Because like, if I really wanted to, for the past year, I could have had like, instead of a burger, I could have gone to McDonald's, and instead of having a Big Mac, I would have had like 6 chicken nuggets or 3 chicken nuggets or whatever. But I haven't. Like, I've literally eaten like a bloody rabbit for the past year. And I've put myself like, I'm lucky because I enjoy I'm sorry, I've got something on my eye. I'm lucky because I really enjoy salads. But literally for the past year, all I've done is eat salads at lunch and like try to eat meat and veg for dinner. And that's out of my choice. That's not because, don't get me wrong, you could say, well, why didn't you just make that choice before? I physically wasn't able to. Like, I was weak. I was too weak to be able to do that, unfortunately. But you're right, it's a tool and you have to work with it, and you have to I just get frustrated when people say it's the easy way out, because like, I see you in the gym, you really inspire me, because I really struggle with the gym. I don't when I'm in the zone, boom, I'm on it. I go 5 times a week. But then it's like starting an essay. Once you start, you're fine. But actually sitting down and starting that essay, I find it so difficult. I've not been to the gym for, like, in fairness, I don't know how it is over there with COVID, but like, our gyms have been closed. And I don't do home workouts. I just find that motivation. I'm really lacking that motivation. I really hope to get into that in the new year. Yeah.
And everybody has their own journey. So again, and the journey everybody doesn't start everything at the same time. So, you know, yours may not be working out right now. I mean, and it's okay. Because you still look awesome. You're still killing it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's journey is different. So you have to be you, find you wherever you are in that journey. So it's cool.
For sure. And I think the way my mind works, I'm a very lazy person. Like, at work, I kill it. And then the minute I come out of work, I turn into a sloth, like, literally. And I think the way my mind works is, well, this is working for me. And my dad's always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, this is working for me right now. I'm 101 pounds down. And it's like, if this is working for me, I may as well continue it. I'm going to continue eating my healthy way. And then when I start to plateau, maybe in 6 months' time, that's when I know I'll be like, right, Sophie, you need to get your ass to the gym because it's not working.
Right.
We have some more questions.
Okay.
Okay, next question. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. How long until you both started exercising normally post-op? Both so inspiring. Thank you, Penny Lou. How lovely. I'm trying to remember. I know it's only a year ago, but like I literally don't know what I had for dinner last night, let alone what I did a year ago. So I'm trying to remember. I think they said to me that I did everything Bible. Like if they said to me like on day 3 you need to scratch your head, I would have scratched my head. Like I literally did everything
I did
Bible.
Too. Yeah, and I think that's key too.
Yeah, and then I think they said to me you can exercise after 8 weeks. I think they said.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I know I had surgery in December 23rd. My doctor told me in March. I think it was the middle of March when he released me to go to the gym.
Right.
And when I went to the gym, just know that, mind you, I'm a 6'2" guy. And because I've been on this journey for a while. So I've been in the gym before. And looking at guys who were smaller than me lift 25 pounds and 50 pounds, I started slow. I started with 10 pounds. So I started with 10 pounds. So yeah, when you go to the gym for you. Do not,
compare yourself.
Look at everybody else. Yeah, and feel like, and even the treadmill, I walked on the treadmill for 5 minutes and I left. And
good for
you. I lifted weights for like 15 minutes with 10-pound weights. So, and I felt as a man, it did make me feel kind of a way. I'm like, okay, I should be doing, more, but don't overwork yourself and don't look at anybody else. Just be worried about you and your process and do what you can. Because always remember that it takes a while for your insides to heal. I think it takes like 6 months or something for it to heal, possibly. So you're still healing even when you're working out. So, but my doctor released me mid-March. And when I tell you I started like a turtle, it was probably slower than a turtle. But eventually you'll get it and you'll grow and you'll learn to love it. So, yeah.
So I did something a bit different. So for me, it was all about netball. Do you know what netball is? I'm not sure if you have it in America or like
you said
have
what
it.
Now?
Netball, like as in netball.
Oh, netball. Is that basketball?
It's really similar. It sounds. Please go on YouTube and watch it after this. It's a really good sport, but I don't think it's as popular in America. Although I'm sure you have an American team and they are actually killing it.
Oh, really?
So basically, it's a bit like basketball, except it sounds so stupid, but you can't move with the ball, so you can't travel, so you can't dribble. So once you get the ball, like you have to stay in that place until you've passed it.
Okay.
And it sounds
so you just pass it around until somebody's close to the net?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the shooter, which I play shooter, so the shooter has to stay within sort of the 3-point sort of circle. We'll go with that. And then they shoot from inside the net, basically.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good. I'm going to send you a link afterwards. But yeah, it's a really fun sport. Everyone's like, is it not really slow because you can't travel? I'm like, it's actually a really fast-paced sport. I've been playing that since I was like 9 years old. So I was really missing that. I play like usually about twice a week.
Okay.
And the minute they said to me, I think it was like 7 weeks after my operation, they were like, you can exercise. I just got myself straight involved. My team messaged me. They were like, Sophie, can you play? When can you play? I was like, this February. No. I played a match. Halfway through, I almost ran off court because I wanted to vomit. But I just sort of threw myself into it. I played a match and I was fine, but I did feel a bit nauseous. I did overwork myself. But then after that, I went to the gym and I just did exactly what you said. I started slow and I just slowly built myself up and built the pace up. I'm really lucky. I'm not sure about you, Colby, but like because I've played sport all my life and because I've been overweight, but people have always been baffled because like I've not been able to run faster than people, but like I've been able to run longer than people. So I'm 5'5", I'm quite short, so I do carry a lot of my weight like on my belly and on my thighs and stuff. But I've always naturally had like quite sporty physique.
Right.
And I think that's why, like, I was naturally sort of able to get back into netball and the gym quite quickly and quite well.
Right.
I think it would be harder for somebody that's never done sports before and never.
Right.
And I think as well, that's why in terms of loose skin, I'm starting to see some, but it's a lot more tone than other people's because I've naturally got that sporty body from previously.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what helped me as well. Is I did play football in high school, but outside of that, I wasn't really into sports at all. But I've always been in and out of the gym throughout my 20s and early 30s. So I think that helped a lot with the loose skin as well. And I think ultimately, if as long as you get in the gym within a reasonable amount of time, you can really cut a lot of the excess skin. I'm not saying because I definitely know that I'm always going to have excess skin on my stomach, unless I have it surgically removed, even if it's just a little bit. But it definitely is not what it would be if I didn't do the work. So yeah,
you didn't have that. Yeah, that's so good. And I definitely will come to you for some advice because I think in the new year I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna start like getting to the gym more because I know where my body's at right now and I know where it could be if I exercised. It's just laziness, isn't it? It's just finding that motivation, and I struggle with it even post surgery. I do.
Yeah. And one thing about you talk about motivation, I was very, and I'm not sure if it's laziness. I think we have to kind of give ourselves a break sometimes. We are going through a whole pandemic. So that
True. Forgot about that.
But also, I think ultimately this surgery, not only the physical strength or energy, like mentally, oh my God, the mental energy that I have now is, I've never experienced it. Even in my 20s, I don't think I've ever experienced like the thought processes that I have, the energy, like from my work, how it has increased my work ethics, even on the job. I'm asking for more projects than I normally do. It's just more. Yeah, it's just it's phenomenal. So it doesn't just fix your physical, it fixes your mental. There's a lot of decisions that I made that I definitely wouldn't have made in my other state. But it definitely is full circle. It is a benefit, definitely.
I love the fact you just said that because that's actually given me reassurance. So I got promoted at work last week and I
Congratulations.
Thank you. I actually only started my job in March. I actually worked for the National Health Service. I got the job when the first pandemic hit in March, and I got promoted last week. And I've obviously only been there 6 months. And I genuinely believe that if it wasn't for this surgery and if it wasn't for the weight loss, I wouldn't have been promoted because I genuinely think the weight loss has given me an element of self-worth that I didn't have before, and like the belief that like I can do it and I am good at my job and I am worthy of having a promotion. There's not somebody within the office that is more worthy of the promotion than I am just because I'm overweight. And now that all these the big comments are coming in, thank you everybody, but like now that I've lost weight, I don't just seem, and it's sad because nobody else would have ever looked at me like that before. They wouldn't have been like, she's useless at the job because she's a certain size or whatever. But that's how I felt about myself. And like we were explaining before, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think that about yourself, people are naturally going to think that about you because you bring that energy onto people.
Exactly.
So I genuinely believe that I got my promotion because I come into work with this energy that's just, I try and radiate this energy that's fun and bubbly and confident, and it wouldn't have been there without the weight loss.
Absolutely. I just had a yearly evaluation with my supervisor, and we talked about that. We talked about, she's like, I always knew the leader was within you. And we talked about, I'm a stockbroker, so I'm on the journey of getting some new licenses to increase my ability to trade. So, they made that decision, and they made that decision because not that they didn't think I was capable already, but they wanted to wait till I was ready. They saw a change in me.
That
So
is
and what
unbelievable.
was crazy is I was upset because I'm like, they don't see it in me. Everybody else is getting opportunities. And I was so focused on what everybody else saw and how I looked at, I really didn't have the time to look and say, Kobe, what energy are you putting out there?
Right.
You know, what energy are you putting out? And I was putting energy where, because I was so fixated on my weight and I thought everybody was looking at me when I would stand up in the office and go get lunch, I thought I looked horrible. So my view of myself would internalize or externalize and say, don't bother me.
Yes.
Leave me
Yes.
alone. I come
Yes.
here to
Yes.
work
Yes.
and don't bother me. Don't ask me any questions unless it's office related, job related, you know. So it was what I was putting out. So now that I'm kind of in a healthier place, now that I'm able to think right, now that I'm in a more positive place, a more aware place within myself, I no longer spend that energy of trying to reject them, but I'm opening
You're like,
myself up.
welcome.
Yeah, welcome them, and they feel it, and they're like, okay, yes, you know, now you're ready. Now we want to give you something, and I think that it helps even with friendships. You know, I'm finding myself now wanting to embrace new people. I was so scared to embrace new because I was so satisfied with what I was used to, because they
Right.
knew me when I was big. They knew me
Right.
when I was struggling. So I felt like, okay, so they know my struggle. I don't have to present my struggle to anyone else new.
Right.
So I would block them. I would block
Right.
new relationships. So now I'm learning, and what I'm trying to get myself to stop doing, which is a part of my therapy, is thinking, now that new people are coming to me, I'm questioning, why are you coming to me? And it's like, Kobe, it's the energy. People are drawn to positivity. People are drawn to,
Sure.
you know, positivity.
That energy,
So,
that good energy.
yeah. So I'm working with my therapist to learning how to accept it, learning how to embrace the new relationships, because it's new. It's new to me. So yeah.
Amazing. Unbelievable. Amazing. Someone just said, I'm on the liquid stage at the minute, feeling down and gassy. You guys are
Yeah.
making me see the whole picture. Thank you. That's so good, Nicole. I'm really glad. First of all, welcome to the Losers Bench. And second of all, I'm so glad that we're able to help you see that, because it is like, it's a full journey. It's a full cycle. It's not just about taking a before and after picture and posting it on Instagram.
Right.
And that's why
So
I do.
beyond
That's
that.
why I created Gastric Gossip, because it's a way to speak to real people with
Right.
real journeys and real experiences, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable. We are veering, like, it literally goes so quickly.
Oh wow.
Somebody's asked a very cheeky question, and I don't know whether to post it or not.
Oh goodness.
I feel like I'll post that, and if you don't answer it, you don't have to. Okay.
Okay, I'm an open book, so.
Someone said, "Is Kobe single?"
I never get asked that.
Look at you getting hit on.
I get asked that all the time.
Yes, Kobe, I love it.
Let me put it this way: I am intentionally single.
Intentionally single.
Me and my therapist told me, you know, I think it's good for the first year for you to be intentionally single, because you're changing and you need to be selfish.
Good for you.
And I will say that for anybody. And I know it's harder for people who are married, which I honestly don't know. That's a whole nother dynamic. When one partner changes and another one doesn't, it can cause issues. But when you're single, that's kind of a plus, because you really have to be selfish the first year. You have to be, for it to be successful, you have to work on you in that regard when I say selfish. But I'm intentionally single. My year is ending. Go
for it, gal. DM him.
Yeah. But no, I'm single. Honestly, I'm not looking, but I am, again, opening myself up to new friendships. I like relationships being cultivated out of friendships. So I don't like going straight into a relationship. I like being friends first and it blossoming into, because if something were to happen, we can always revert back to being friends. So that's the answer. I am single, but whatever happens will happen.
Love that answer. Do you know what? It's so funny, because I've actually just recently had this conversation with my mum. My mum's my best friend, and I'm single at the moment. And I told her, like, do you know what? I'm actually really glad that I've done this journey single, because I really feel as though there'd be a lot of pressure on my partner and my boyfriend, because I feel as though I am all for the better in my opinion, but I am beyond a different person now to who I was a year ago. And people always say to me, do you know what, like my true friends say to me, like, you're literally you, but you're just 10 times more confident and 10 times happier. And what happens if the guy that I got with a year, 2, 3 years ago, pre-surgery, wasn't able to then handle this newfound confidence, Sophie, or this new like person, or because I'm not the same person. I mean, I am, and I am different externally, but I think mentally as well, like, but I think it's all for the better. And I do think, like, I don't know, it depends if I was with somebody, but it's not fair to expect somebody to, it's not just like dyeing your hair blonde, like it's not just like a physical quick change like that. It's an emotional change, I'm gonna ignore that comment. It's an emotional change, it's a confidence I'm literally so embarrassed.
What is the comment?
What it says? Can you not see the comments?
I can see them a little bit, but I don't know if we're seeing the same comments at the same time.
It says, I'm ready to, it's one of my friends from uni, and he said, I'm ready to support and handle. We're ignoring that. This is not, gastric gossip is not to find me and Kobe relationships. It's to speak about gastric gossip. Right. Where was I up to? Yeah, and it's not just like a change in hair colour. It's so much more emotional and physical than that. It's so much. You get what I'm saying. It's just
I completely understand what you're saying.
And I feel bad that, like, I don't feel bad, but like I do think it would have been difficult for a partner, if I had one, to process the Sophie I am now, and the confidence and the basically
because we have changed and we are changing. It used to be a negative notion in regards to somebody saying, well, you've changed, and I've learned to embrace and say, I have. Good for you.
Do you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I actually lost my best friend throughout this process. Not lost as in she passed away. Lost as in like, so I had a really, really close friend. We were friends for like 3-4 years. And literally, I think it was like 2-3 months after my surgery. In fact, it was February. So it was 2 months after my operation. She sat me down and she was like, we just think you've changed as a person, and we think you're really nasty now, and we think you're trying to be this influencer, and we don't like it. And I was just like, I haven't changed. I'm the same person. And now if she was to say the same thing to me, I'd be like, do you know what, babes? I've changed for the better, and I am the best version of myself I've ever been. And if you can't handle that, that is literally not my problem. Do you know what I mean?
Period. Yes.
Period. Literally, like, you have to accept that you will change, but it is for the better. And if people around you can't handle that, then the door's that way, babes, honestly.
Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, or something like that.
Okay,
exactly. I think we've got time for like 2 more questions, and we're keeping them appropriate. Oh, great question. What is your favorite meal now?
Good question. Anything with steak. I love steak.
Oh, really?
And I didn't like steak prior to. I would not eat steak. I would eat lamb chops. I would eat pork chops, but I love steak. Do y'all have moles? You have moles, right? You don't have moles? It's like a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, like a salsarita. Do you have salsaritas?
Oh,
God.
Are we really missing out?
Yeah, you're missing out. But it's like a Mexican restaurant where you can, it's like a to-go Mexican restaurant. I literally eat, they have like bowls, and you can put in steak, all kind of stuff in it. But steak is literally my favorite. So.
Do you know what's very ironic about you saying this? When she said, what's your favorite meal? I was thinking, I actually don't know. But thinking about it, I went to a Mexican, I don't do Mexican food. It's really just not for me. I'm not a fan of, like, what do we call it? I'm not a fan of coriander, and they put coriander in everything.
Okay.
And it's just not for me. And I'm not a fan of like tomatoey, salsa-y things, and it's just not for me.
Gotcha.
And that's basically Mexican food. However, whenever I can go somewhere where I can create like my own sort of burrito bowl, or like some form of like somewhere where I can get like protein and salad and it all be mixed together, like I'm down for that. And you get that in Mexican places.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe after all this pandemic's over, I'll visit North Carolina and we'll go to Moe's.
Yes. Come on, I'll show you.
Isn't North Carolina where J. Cole's from? J. Cole the rapper.
I don't know. I know it's from Fantasia?
No.
The singer? You don't know Fantasia?
Wait, the old school singer.
Yeah, well, she's young, but she sings like an old school singer.
Oh, then actually, no, I don't know her.
Oh, wow.
I'll check her out.
Okay, yeah,
I'll check her out for sure. Okay, we'll go for like 1 or 2 more questions. Good question. A year out, does your restrictions still vary day to day? I'm so intrigued as to how you answer this because I want to know myself.
Well, I just noticed it actually maybe 2 weeks ago that my water I'm able to drink more water at a time. Because I think for the first couple of months, I was just so scared to what it would do if I gulped it down. I would just force myself to sip.
And then you're in pain.
Yeah. But now, like, it would take me 2 days to drink one of these.
Yeah.
I drink one of these probably by half a day.
Amazing.
Now. So, and I drink probably one of these a day.
Right.
So I've noticed that I'm able to also eat a little more as well.
Right.
So
like
I know that. Yeah. So yeah, I've noticed it.
And then food-wise, you said you're able to eat more. Is that like sizes or like different types of food?
Yeah, it does vary by the type of food. Definitely if it's steak or something heavy of that nature, I can't eat as much.
That's why when you said steak, I was like, whoa, that's not me at all.
But because I'm focused on building my physique and lifting weights and building muscle, I'm very heavy on the protein. So there are times where I would eat protein only. And I will drink my vegetables. I'll make like a smoothie or something and just drink the liquid.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get as much protein as I can. And I do protein drink. I do Gene Pro. I take that at least 3 times a day. But yeah, it does vary. So chicken, I can eat a little more chicken than like steak. And if it's, of course, like a soupy kind of thing, I can definitely do more of that. So it does vary.
See, mine is the complete opposite to you, which is so odd. So like for me, liquids scare the crap out of me. So if there's soup, I avoid it at all costs because I know that it's going to fill me so quickly. Like this, for example, I filled this up to the top before we started and I've drank the whole thing, which as we've been on, which is great. But when it comes to like meals, like I try and have substantial actual food rather than I'm just going to tell you this comment before it deletes. Someone said, can we have another hour or start a petition to get Kobe on the next episode? I love that. In fairness, Kobe, you've been amazing. Like all your answers have been unreal, so emotional, so raw, and really helpful. Yeah, we'll do a part 2. Don't you worry, guys. We're having him back. We will have him back, and we'll have his number displayed at the bottom of the screen so you can all WhatsApp him. What was I going to say? Yeah, so like today's a perfect example. So it's a girl's certain time of the month and I'm feeling very like all I want to do is stuff my face with food.
Yeah.
And I went to Starbucks this morning with a friend and I had that we in our Starbucks in the UK, they do this thing called fruit bread, which is basically the English word for it is like a toasted tea cake. It's like a muffin. Is a bit like the way you describe it, with like fruit inside it, and you butter it, and you have jam on it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I bought it because I was like, do you know what? It's that time of the month. I want to eat naughty. I'm hungry. I'm only going to have a bite of it. Please explain to me why I ate the whole thing. Like, I was fine. I ate the whole thing. I was like, are you working anymore? Like, is that it? Is a year and we're done? Like, was there a restriction on it? Like, someone tell me. And I've come home this evening and I'm still so full. Like, I can't eat anymore. Yeah. But then, like, there's other days where, like, I will literally have 2 bites of a salad and be full. Like, and I've still not got any way of, like, controlling it. It's different daily. But
I think it's just your body. I think it's just your body.
Yeah.
Where it is that day and what it needs. So, yeah.
And I think it's also what exercise you do, because I find that, like, if I go for a huge walk, I can eat more because I've burnt off more.
Absolutely. That too. That too. Yeah.
We are veering on, it's 7:57 here PM, and that means that we probably have about 3 minutes left. So I'm not going to answer any more questions. But genuinely, like, as you can see from the comments, you've been unreal. Like, it's been so nice to get to know you and
I've
hear
enjoyed
your
myself.
Story. I know.
Thank
We
you
have
for
to do this
having me.
again. Shall we just change it to like hashtag Kobe gossip and just like change every week? We'll just do talking to Kobe and finding out his experiences. Like, how was your week, Kobe? Tell us. And, like, change it fully. No, but for real, like, you've been unbelievable. It's been so nice to speak to you. Someone said you two are such a vibe. I love this energy, and people like you in the community keep shining. That's so nice.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime. So.
And yeah, I think this was like, I don't want to be rude to all the other people there. I think this was my favorite episode because I feel like I've learned so much from you, and your energy was just brilliant. So thank you.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I don't know what the restriction is over there with regards to COVID and stuff, but have an amazing Christmas with your family.
Thank you.
And a happy New Year.
Thank you.
And we'll do this again, definitely.
Okay, looking forward to it.
For sure.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone out there.
Bye, guys. Take care. Thank you, Kobe.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.